Hey everyone, it's me, Treese. I'm kind of doing things a bit differently this time. I kind of wanted to make a quicker, easier video, something that's not going to take a month like the ULTRAKILL video, so I'm not using a script, I'm actually only using an outline of a script, so it's basically just like a general idea of what I want to talk about, so we'll see how that goes. Also, instead of talking about a video game that doesn't get enough mainstream attention, I'm talking about an album from a musician that doesn't get enough mainstream attention, so really mixing things up today. But yeah, let's get into it. So first I kind of gotta lay down some context. EX-LYD, or X-LYD, I don't know how the hell you pronounce that, I'm just gonna say EX-LYD, just because that's what it looks like. EX-LYD is a Danish chiptune artist. He's got a really unique sound to him. I've talked about him before, I think in a community post or whatever. I actually promoted the release of this album because I'm gonna get into it, it's great. But he's got this really unique sound to him. His music is generally very upbeat and happy, and not like the sappy country music kind of Christian music way, like a very like, the sound of the music makes you upbeat and happy, and so I really like that. I really love his music. He's got this really weird thing where the notes, like the chiptune notes, have this weird like human-like cadence to it, and they sound like people are singing. It's a really cool effect. He's also got this really neat mixture of like chiptune and real instruments, which more people need to do. It's the most based audio aesthetic ever, man. Real instruments and chiptune. Please, more people do it. It's great, and he's great. He's a pretty small artist. I doubt many of you have heard of him, and if you have, you've probably heard the song Pink Sand. It was used in a lot of those like animation, memes, furry bullshit, all that stuff. It makes sense. It's that kind of song. It's a great song. It's a really good song. I'll play it here. He's become a bit of a favorite of mine because of Chip Heat, which is the album that Pink Sand came from. It has a couple other quality tracks on there, like Kiru, Summer Nights, probably some others, I don't know, but all of those are great songs. But yeah, he's become a bit of a favorite of mine recently, and just a few days ago he dropped this new album, High Tide, which I feel like giving my thoughts on and making a review of, and I don't want to put in the effort to make a full treeview, so I'm doing kind of one of these outliney kind of things, just because I'm lazy. So first I'm going to start with a general overview of the album as a whole before I kind of go into the individual songs, and then end with my like wrapping thoughts and, a rating and all that stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. So right off the bat, I'm just going to say High Tide is absolutely fantastic. The overall quality is extremely consistent throughout, with only one, maybe two unremarkable tracks, which I would say is a marked improvement over Chip Heat, where it had a couple of good songs, and most of them just didn't really resonate with me all that much. EX-LYD's trademark style is still here in full force, but it's taken in some new, really cool directions. This includes a couple relaxing / ambient tracks, which from what I can tell is a first for EX-LYD, and for a first-time job, he did great. High Tide as a whole is generally much more eclectic and varied in the kinds of sounds it uses as opposed to Chip Heat or Space, and it's a welcome change. EX-LYD's albums usually have an overarching theme. Chip Heat was kind of generally themed around, summer and warmth and all that stuff, and this one is obviously well themed around the ocean, and it very much delivers on that premise. The songs do a really good job invoking the feelings and the colors of the ocean, if that makes any sense. They just create a really strong mental image of being underwater, being in the ocean, all that stuff. It's really cool. But before I get into the individual songs, I want to talk about the album art because, well, it's part of the album. And I think album art is important. It's part of the experience. It kind of gives it that visual identity, and it helps represent what it's about, and I think this one does a great job at it. The art itself is obviously gorgeous. It's well composed. It makes great use of color. It's got a unique and memorable character design, which is a kind of staple of EX-LYD albums, and it does a great job representing the emotions and general feel of the music. The art kind of helps put you into the music, if you get what I mean. It helps you put yourself into that scene. The colors in particular really resonate with the songs, their tone, just how they sound and all that stuff. They give off the feelings of the bright blue ocean and the soft pink coral reef. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of just something that you feel when you're listening to the music. It's a really cool effect, it kind of adds to the immersiveness of the music, and it's just good art, Easily one of my new favorites, I love it. It's great. Great album art. Alright, now that we've got all the babbling about album art and just a general overview of the album and all that crap, let's get into the meat of the thing, which is, well, the music, the individual songs. I'm just gonna kind of give my brief thoughts on all of them, give them a kind of each an individual rating, talk about, like, how good they are in comparison to the rest, like, if they're one of the better ones, one of the weaker ones, what I like about them, stuff that stood out to me, stuff that I didn't really like. Standard review shit, just kind of talking about the songs, so, I guess let's talk about the songs. Okay, first thing on the menu, the first track of the album, Blue Shores. Right off the bat, this is probably the most consistent song on the album. Maybe I would consider it the highlight. Maybe might as go so far as to call it High Tide's Pink Sand, because Pink Sand was very much the best song on Chip Heat. And like Pink Sand, Blue Shores is excellent. It's very consistent. Like I said, it's very consistent all throughout the song. It's got amazing choruses. I'll probably play that here. The parts in between the choruses are great too, which is kind of a kind of recurring weakness of High Tide, is that there are a bunch of songs where they have great choruses, but the parts in between aren't as focused or as good. This doesn't have that problem. It's great all the way through. Overall, an excellent track, probably the best on the album. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm not doing it at a 7 because I hate you. Colorful Fishes, the first of the 2 ambient tracks on High Tide, because not all of it is kind of dancey, standard EX-LYD dance music. Some of it is this really beautiful, like, peaceful ambient music, and this one perfectly fits that description. It's, oh my god, it is gorgeous. It barely even sounds like an EX-LYD track at all. It very much reminds me of a song from Minecraft by C418 called Dragonfish, which I'll play here. It's just great. It is so ethereal. It's got this ethereal, beautiful quality to it. It feels like you're kind of roaming the floor of the ocean. It's great, you know, and obviously being compared to C418 is a great thing, because he made the Minecraft soundtrack, Super Mario Galaxy level tier soundtrack there. So yeah, this one is one of my favorites on the album, and I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 as well. So next is Coral Reef, which is a bit of a weirdo track. It's got a really, really unique sound to it. It very heavily uses a trope in EX-LYD songs, which is like usage of pseudo vocals. I don't know if they're synthesized or whatever, but they sound like people singing as opposed to chiptune notes that have a human-like cadence. This sounds like people actually singing. And it's used really well in this song. It's very prominent in this song, and it gives it a really, really unique sound. Here, I'll just show you. Listen to this. When I first listened to the song, it kind of gave me vibes from the aquarium levels from Sonic Colors, if you remember. I don't know what the zone is called, and I don't care. But it gives off those vibes. It sounds like that. It reminds me of that, which is a great thing, you know, because Sonic music is Sonic music or whatever, and Sonic music is obviously really good. And yeah, it gave me that vibe, and I don't know why, but it's great. It does kind of suffer from that problem I described earlier, where songs have a great chorus, but the parts in between are kind of unfocused or meandering, and that's kind of a problem here. It's not terrible, like, it's not a bad problem. There are other songs that have the problem worse than this one, but yeah, this one is definitely one of the stronger tracks. Yeah, it's easily, I would say it's probably one of the better songs on the album. The only kind of big-ish criticism I could give against the song is mostly just kind of a personal pet peeve of mine when it comes to music. It's when the only difference between the final chorus and the rest of the choruses and the beginning of the song, the middle or whatever, when the only difference between it and them is that it's higher pitched. It's just kind of lazy, and it doesn't really like have the same momentum that I think a lot of people think it does. I see it a lot in like video game music or like anime music, and it's just kind of annoying. It's not that bad here. It's one of the better implementations of it I've seen, but it's just a thing that kind of personally pisses me off a little bit, and something I don't really like, but I'm not gonna hold it too much against it. Still an overall great song. I would give it a 7 out of 10 just because of the unfocused bits between choruses and that. Alright, now we're on to Sunken City. This is probably the weakest track on the album. It's my least favorite, definitely. It's just not very memorable, other than it's kind of dark in its tone, and it has a really weird, like, killer saxophone bit at the end. Which, you know, it's alright, but it's not enough to kind of carry the rest of the song being just okay. It kind of reminds me of a lot of the songs in Chip Heat where they're just not particularly memorable, and that's the case here. It's just, I don't even remember any of it. Like, I can remember a lot of these other songs, and I can't remember this one. So, I don't know exactly how to rate it, just because, like I said, I don't even remember much of it. I'll just give it a 5 out of 10, because it's not a bad song. It doesn't actively displease me, but it doesn't actively, like, make me like it, other than the bit of the saxophone, which is not enough to at least bump it up to a 6. Next up is Low Tide. Now, this is a bit of a weird one. It's really long, and it's really ambitious. Like, it has a weird bit, it has like a cool tempo change partway through. It's very weirdly structured. The beginning is really, really strong, and its choruses are some of the best moments of the entire album. I'll just play that here. It's just great. So the beginning and the chorus are really strong, but the tempo shift kind of brings a couple problems. It's mostly just a problem of being unfocused and being kind of too long. I wouldn't say that the tempo shifted part is bad necessarily. If anything, it's actually pretty darn good. You know, like, it's fast-paced, it's exciting, you bump your head to it because it's dance music and that's what you do. It makes pretty cool usage of the pseudo vocals, all that kind of stuff. It's just a little long and a little kind of unfocused. It's kind of difficult to, like, pay attention and keep listening to it. It just doesn't flow as well as a lot of the other songs. It's still good, but I know I've been negative, but I really don't want to convey that this is a bad song. It's a great song. The tempo shifted part isn't even that bad. It's actually pretty darn good. It's just, it could have been better. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Alright, now on to the namesake of the album, High Tide, which, as of writing, is one of the least viewed songs on YouTube, which is criminal because this song is fantastic. I would say this song is like a perfect representation of High Tide, the album. It's got all of the best qualities of the album all on full display. It's happy, it's colorful, it's upbeat, it's got that oceanic theme, etc. And this is all best demonstrated through its godlike choruses. It's also one of the most consistent songs on the album. It's got a little bit of the meanderiness present in other songs, but it probably has it the least. And overall, it is just a damn fine track. It is EX-LYD at his best. I think I actually like this one more than Blue Source, so I'm actually going to give it a 9 out of 10, which is probably what I would give Pink Sand, maybe Summer Nights, I'm not sure. But yeah, this one is great. Alright, now for the other gorgeous ambient song, Sea Hike. It's very similar to Colorful Fishes, you know, it's very serene and ethereal and beautiful. It makes you feel like you're swimming at the bottom of the ocean kind of thing. Probably has that effect more so than that one. And, you know, it's pretty much just as good as Colorful Fishes. It's just an all-around excellent track. 8 out of 10. And finally, capping off this wonderful adventure through the sea, we have Atlantica. Pretty good conclusion, I would say. It's definitely the most dancey and aggressive song on the album. It's not very oceany, but it's just a decent EX-LYD chiptune song. Solid, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's kind of long, kind of meandering. Not that bad though. It's just a decent song. Probably one of the more forgettable ones, but it's still great. It's still a good EX-LYD song. So I guess I'll give it a 6 out of 10, just because, like I said, it's not very memorable, but it's not bad. It's good. So yeah, those are my individual thoughts on each of the songs in High Tide. I really think EX-LYD outdid himself this time. This one is easily better than Chip Heat. It's great. It doesn't quite reach that album's heights, but it's much more, like, consistent. It's a really clear demonstration of improvement. The ratio of great tracks to okay tracks is much better. The general style and structure of the songs and the kinds of sound used, all of that stuff, all of it, it's just so much more advanced and complex and ambitious than Chip Heat or Space. It's no longer just fairly kind of standard chiptune music with a unique spin on it with the pseudo vocals and instruments or whatever. It's very much definitively EX-LYD, and I like that. I think this is something he should definitely be very proud of because it is a great album. Rating's pretty obvious, 7 out of 7. I sucked the thing's dick for like 10 plus minutes or whatever. Really gotta review something worse, so I quit using 7 out of 7s. I might just have to abandon the ratings. So yeah, that's all she wrote, or rather all I wrote actually. That's a lie. I didn't write an outro. I literally just wrote up to the songs and then didn't write anything else. This has all been improv. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say about High Tide. Obviously go listen to it, because it's great. Support EX-LYD. I think you can buy this on Bandcamp or whatever, so I'm gonna link that. I'm gonna link everything I can find for him. Go check him out. He makes such great music. Share it to people, obviously, because, I make videos about stuff because I want more people to know about them. So, help me with that. Make this album more known, because it's great. He's great. He deserves more exposure or whatever. So yeah, thank you for watching, I guess. I know this is sort of a different kind of video coming from me, it's not the uber scripted treeviews or whatever, but after finishing the ULTRAKILL one only a couple days ago, I didn't really, I wanted to review this, but I didn't want to spend so much time working on it and all that time editing and writing a script and recording and all that crap, so I'm just kind of recording my thoughts sort of off the cuff with a little bit of an outline or whatever. So it's a bit different, not as good, obviously, but I really wanted to make this because I think people need to know about this album. So yeah, thank you for watching. I don't know if you're interested in more of these kind of less scripted, easier to make videos that are, let me know, just because you get what I mean. I kind of stammer a lot, but yeah, if you want more of videos like this, let me know. I'm gonna shut up. I've been Treese, and this has been High Tide by EX-LYD. Go give it a listen.